Hey, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. My name is Stephen Spatz. This is our first BookBaby live broadcast for the year 2022. And yes, I'm still writing 21 on the checks I still have to write. Not many of them anymore. Anyway, today's topic, well, it's listed on the screen, top 7 ways to ruin your indie book publish. It didn't actually start out that way. I have a little backstory about that. But anyway, it's going to be interesting. Look at some of the things that hopefully you can avoid as you begin your book publish. So with that, Carter, our trusty assistant, we can move right into the presentation. All right, there it is again. Top 7 ways to ruin it. But let's say we're going to get there. So greetings from Cheesesteak World here in Greater Philadelphia area. I have a new title, I'm pleased to say. I'm now the President Emeritus. You may have seen my email a few weeks ago that Jim Foley is our new president, and he gets to do all the heavy lifting now, and I'm going to be sticking around for these live broadcasts and a few emails and, poke a few holes in some of our marketing plans and just generally be a nuisance to our marketing team, but they're used to that. Anyway, I've been involved with BookBaby from about 2015, but with the company a lot more, a lot earlier than that, working with independent musicians. I started out my professional life as a journalist, a sports writer, and now, full circle, I'm back into publishing with BookBaby. But I think I'm most qualified to talk about these kind of issues because I'm just like you. I'm a self-published author. I've written 1 book. I'm working on 2 more, as a matter of fact, even as I speak. So I know your pain, I know your joys, I know your triumphs, and hopefully these somewhat monthly broadcasts can help you negotiate some of these twists and turns of what is ultimately a fantastic journey and a great ending point. So here's how we do these things. We got 30 minutes. We're going to talk about bookish type things. It's usually about self-publishing and about marketing, although sometimes I'll range off into, why the Philadelphia Eagles should have been in the Super Bowl this year, but that will be a very short one. Anyway, we'll have time for your questions, 15 minutes or so. So be sure and send your questions off in the comment section on the screen. Love to answer those at the end of it. We usually go over time, which is great. Otherwise, you can send me questions later on. We also have, an Authors of BookBaby Facebook group that you can join. We're now well over 1,000 members of that. It's a great place for conversations. We don't go in there and monitor things, but we occasionally pop in and see if there's any questions we can answer. It's lots of good, back and forths with BookBaby authors or even non-BookBaby authors. We're interested in what their experiences and journeys have been. By the way, every time I go on this slide, all these covers were done by our BookBaby designers, and I marvel at it each time. They're just so beautiful and such wonderfully different, diverse colors. So that's fun. And one lucky attendee for this broadcast will be selected at random, and you'll get a 15-minute publishing consultation. I do owe one. I got to say, Kim Ratliff and I from November. We have not linked up yet, but we will. These publishing consultations, they're never 15 minutes. They're much longer than that. I answer as many questions as I can. Here's how you get involved in that. Share this video, tag a friend in the comment section, and you're automatically entered to win the consultation. And hopefully we'll have time at the end, and we will have a moment to announce who the winner is. I'm seeing that there's an error on the Facebook stream. All right, but we're going to keep going anyway, I think, unless I'm told otherwise. So onward and upward. So we have, been involved with the publishing world for quite some time now. 11 years in, we've worked for 65,000 plus authors, I think, at that time, although that number might be old. We've done over 100,000 ebooks and printed books. So we're actually now one of the largest book printers in the whole mid-Atlantic area. So, but what's our most important thing that we bring to the self-publishing business, in my mind, are the people who have talked to literally tens of thousands of people on the phones over the year about their book projects and how we can help them and their questions. So we've heard it. We've been there. We've done it all. Just like those commercials you see from farmers. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two. So I think this experience that we can bring to you in this format or in other ways on our blog or in our emails is really important for us to get this out there. Now, this was the original title of this presentation, and I was doing it for the IBPA. They're a great group, the Independent Book Publishers Association. But quite frankly, I wasn't terribly inspired by this title. I felt like I was going to go board an airplane and see one of the safety videos. So you know what? Now that I'm president emeritus, I get to go off script whenever I please. So forget it. We're not going to say that from the BookBaby files. We're going to say revealed from the BookBaby files, and we're going to bring a little bit more spice to this about ways that you can ruin an indie book publish. Again, don't mean to be all negative here. Turn the reasoning around, but I'm going to point out some things that we have seen over the years that can really be roadblocks. Are they fixable and solvable? Absolutely. It's just that if you know going in advance, we can take care of it now rather than later on. So let's get going on this. Okay. So again, there's my cheesy clickbait type of entry. See, now that I'm the president emeritus, I have too much time on my hands to do these things. All right, here we go. I'm going to start with this, and I think I've mentioned this in one of these broadcasts. A lot of authors do not begin to even think about marketing until they've said the end. That's the wrong way to approach this. I got to say, the two books that I'm working on, one is about publishing, one's about a retirement project that I'm working on, and I've already started working on who I'm going to market this to. Are there going to be groups I'm going to sign up on Facebook if I join Facebook, LinkedIn and Twitter and things like that? I'm setting myself up for success by thinking about it even before I really even finished on the first chapter on each one of these. All right. So begin when you've got your topic selected, or your book kind of blocked out, or your how you define what your subject matter is going to be. That's when you start laying the groundwork for all of your marketing. And this is a chance when you get to network. All right. It's one thing at the end of the book project, and you're tempted to want to say, "Oh, please buy my book. Buy my book." That gets a little annoying. If you start now and you tell people, "Hey, you know what? By the way, I'm writing a book," and they might say, "Hey, tell me more about it." And as you process the book, it'll be a much more less awkward type of conversations rather than just a desperate, "I have a book, please buy it." Okay, start now. This is also the chance for you to learn social media. Now, you don't need to be an expert. You don't need to have TweetDeck and have all these other contraptions going on your PC as you're typing away. But learn the basics of it. There's thousands of resources about social media for authors, including on the BookBaby blog. Strongly urge you to spend some time. This doesn't have to take a lot of your day, 15, 20, half an hour of your day. But make sure you think about marketing every day that you're writing. And frankly, this is also a great chance to interview publicists if you have the budget. And frankly, even if you don't, might not be bad just to kind of bounce your ideas off. Tell them about your book. See what they have to say about your book, and you might learn a thing or two about how you want to market it. So a good time and a good opportunity to really do that then. Now, by the way, we know this is a proven strategy. A few years ago, we sent a survey out, massive survey out to self-published authors who were in BookBaby and really out there in the ecosphere. And we asked them, over 83% of them agreed that marketing your book should begin way before the book is finished. I mean, these are the people who are making money on their book, and this was a keystone part of how they found success. So you've got to start it early. By the way, we have a resource for you if you want to learn about that giant survey that we did and learn more about what these authors did. One of our free guides. We offer a ton of them on the website. You go to bookbaby.com, you click on the Learn tab in the middle of the screen, you go down, you click on the free guides, and you'll find this as one of the many free guides that we do offer now. So that's number one. Avoid that. Number two is this. Now, we believe in DIY for a lot of things, but self-publishing is not an area where you really need or you should think about doing everything yourself. In the early years of self-publishing, where people were just doing ebooks and they found a way to do their own conversions and get onto Amazon, that's great. That's fine. Self-publishing has evolved. Self-publishing has gotten much more complicated. It's sophisticated. And frankly, unless you are doing this all day long, 24/7, you don't have all the answers. So going DIY for an entire publish is not a good idea. All right. Here's my general guidelines about what I should do myself. I do some oil changes, maybe. I've done it once. It worked. Simple plumbing. I can turn a wrench, and stop a leak. I can do some cooking, although I made bread last week. It was terrible. So still working on it. All right. Generally, I say no DIY and brain surgery. And some of the important things which can make or break your manuscript. You can write the greatest book that has ever been written, but if you don't have it edited or have cover and interior book design done by a pro, Doesn't have to be BookBaby, frankly. This isn't a commercial. If it can be done by someone who is very experienced at this, this is the place where you need to go in and get help. Again, this is just one of the DIY areas that we suggest you go in and find folks, because you know what? It really does take a village. I like that term, and I think it applies especially to how BookBaby approaches this business, and I think how self-published authors need to think about it. You're not going to have all the answers. It's best just to go out and see what you can do and see what you can learn from other folks, all right? I love this picture. This is Becky, one of our chief designer, sitting down at our recent concert, getting a chance to talk one-on-one with people. I mean, publishing is a very much of a people business, all right? You need to count on experts who have been there, who have published that. BookBaby is one. There are many other organizations out there that do this too. But it's such comfort to know that you can count on somebody who's been with you all the way, all right, from your first question to actually being the one paying out the dollars of your royalty for your bestseller. We're with you for as long as you want us to be there, all right? So think about a team, concentrate on your writing, concentrate on your marketing first, of course, but allow yourself the luxury of being able to have a team of folks who are doing the work for you, all right? Third thing is something which really isn't mentioned very much, but we've seen roadblocks come up and time go by and months added to projects. And that is this: not focusing and looking at your proofs, okay? This is the one that I think about all the time. Everybody writes, some read, very few proofread, okay? Everywhere along the step of your self-publishing, you're given a chance to proofread all the way from editing on your manuscript to your interior layout to your cover. It's critical that you spend quality time on this and not just say, oh, it's going to be fine, all right? And here's an example. So when we have folks who they've not gone through the proof process, in a really organized manner, and they find a bunch of typos, say in their ebook, and they call us up and say, you know what? I have a typo on page 17 and a typo on page 83. Can you just change that and go on our merry way? I would love to say we could do this, but let me explain to you the process and why we actually have to charge a fee for this, okay? In your ebook, we must immediately take down your ebook from every single bookstore that you're in, from Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Overdrive, all the stores. We have to bring them back and double check that they're actually checked out of that bookstore. We have to go into the original file. We make those changes. We send you a proof again. Did you have the changes correct? Yes, great. Then we need to resubmit them back out to Amazon, back out to Barnes & Noble, and then make sure they are indeed the right versions, okay? This isn't just a simple fix. And folks wonder, why in the world can't it just take place in 5 minutes? Because it's a much longer process. You think in the digital world, it's just a matter of going in and changing a file. No, that file doesn't just reside on our servers. It's got to go out to all these other entities. So it's critically important. You look at your proofs, and the best way to do that, invest in a press proof, okay? Now, most organizations offer this. We have an offer that will print exactly one book that's exactly what is going to be sold to your customers. We print a book, we cut it, we bind it, we ship it out to you. All right, it usually goes out to you within 48 hours of when your finished file has come to us. It's the greatest way to get a different way of viewing your book. It's one way to actually look on a computer screen and see your manuscript, and your eyes just go by this. Now suddenly it's on paper, and it's in the book format that you've invested in, hopefully in interior formatting with a beautiful design and editing. These errors will pop out at you immediately. It's tremendous value in getting these press proofs. Again, this is before we've distributed this anywhere. These can be simple fixes, right? Going back to that scenario, make a change on page 17 and page 97, easy, done, finished. Then we'll distribute the book. So I'll tell you, this is a tremendous value for folks. Like I said, most companies offer this. BookBaby does. I strongly urge you to invest in that as a final step before you get into distribution, all right? Fourth thing is this, and I've just been looking at some numbers, and you'll see them in an upcoming weekender about the whole book industry and how we did in 2021. Spoiler alert, books continued a big surge. Even after the pandemic lockout year, 2021 was a tremendous year, and especially in some of the formats like ebooks, of which readership has gone way up in the last 2 years. All right, but people make a mistake and say, "I'm just going to do an ebook," or "I'm just going to do a printed book." Nah, I don't need to do an ebook. You're doing the publish. It's a real mistake if you don't have it take the opportunity to get both of them, because here's sort of how the numbers break out. As a matter of fact, I'm going to have to update this because it's gone up from ebook only is now from 23% to about 30%. Print only is down to about 24%, and then both formats has shrunk as well. But my point is that if you only get print, you're going to miss out on segments of an audience. As a self-published author, you can't afford to just ignore opportunities to find readers. And there's another one coming up here that's even more prevalent. So look, go ahead, do both the ebook and the print book at the same time. Doing them at staggered times doesn't make sense either, because you might want to change in your ebook. If you did your printed book first and then you do your ebook a little bit later on, there might be some changes in there. Then you probably need to update your printed book. Just get it done all at the same time. We're doing all the heavy lifting for you, right? You get your manuscript done. It goes two ways, one on print side, one on the ebook side. So get it done all at once. Now, you notice I didn't mention audio. Now, look, I love audiobooks. One of my favorite ways. In fact, I've got a bunch of credits I've got to use up, or Audible is going to discontinue them. So the next few days, I've got to pick about 10 books I get to put on Audible. And I love them. But it's still a tiny percentage of the marketplace, and even smaller for independent publishers, right? 90% of indie authors will not see a good return on investment yet. Now, I do say yet because there's big changes on the horizon. Right now, you need to spend between $3,500 to $5,000 just in production of an audiobook, and then the royalties are different in the audiobook world. Well, so it'll take a long time to get that money back. AI generated voices are improving every day that goes by. We're talking to some vendors now, and you can barely even notice the difference between a real live human reading the book and these AI generated voices. Look, if you have tremendous print and ebook sales already, sure, go for it. Why not? But you know what? Hang on. Talk to us in about 12 months, because I think by that time we're going to have an offer which I think is going to be within reach of most self-published authors. Will give them a really good shot at being able to get a good return on investment. Okay, number 5. Just as I was talking about not doing just an ebook or just a print book, distributing through Amazon only. Again, back in the good old days, early days, 10 years ago, sure, that was the thing to do, right? There weren't many stores out there. Amazon was dominant. Well, Amazon's still dominant in the U.S. There's no question about that. 82% of the market right now, they control based on the latest 2021 stats I just read yesterday. So Amazon is very important. However, and they're dominant in many markets around the world. In the UK, in the US, in Canada, not so much. In Australia, not so much. Okay, there are other companies, and my point is, and you'll see this in this weekend, the entire book industry right now they estimate as $128 billion in revenue. The US is $26 billion of that. There's $100 billion of people, of book revenue out there. In most of the markets, Amazon is not dominant. So my point is, distribute beyond the jungle, all right? You look at Canada, Kobo has 30%. Australia, there are other companies there. In New Zealand, there are other companies. And then Europe, they're even more diverse section. So go with a company that will give you more distribution beyond Amazon is what I'm telling you here. You're going to, again, gain all the opportunities you can on the marketplace. You can't afford to not have your book available in front as many eyes. And again, the numbers I'm going to share with you in this weekend and talk about markets outside of the U.S. It's really eye-opening. People are reading books by American authors all over the world, and you've got to get out there and be part of it. Okay, they are sold everywhere. Limiting it to the one channel is just not there. And maybe there's some specialty book markets for you to consider. We have some interesting articles on the blog by a gentleman by the name of Brian Judd, who is head of a group that looks at alternative ways to move books not in retail stores. And the best example I can think of is, say it's a cruise ship of retirees, and you've written a book about how to find love when you're 70 years old. Well, maybe you could sell it in the bookstore on that ship. or have that go out as a package of people who are interested in buying cruises. They're they're imaginative ways to move more books. And Brian Judd is a friend of BookBaby and has done some nice work for some of our clients in that way. All right. We also think that this comes from our musical roots, where indie music really took off when indie musicians could take advantage of selling direct to their listeners through sites like CD Baby, our former company, and others out there. We advocate the same thing in publishing. All right. Going direct to your readers is the best way to establish a relationship with them, and you also make the most amount of money. All right. When people buy through your free bookshop page, for instance, and you can do this all other manners, but on BookBaby, we give you a page, and you may be able to get the email addresses of all the people buying your book to start that marketing effort. You can do all sorts of different ways. You control the selling process, and you make a lot more money. So we strongly advocate, again, this isn't an Amazon-centric type of thing. Look for other ways to move your books and other venues as well. Number 6 is this, and this I'm going to go through this a little more carefully. Distribution does not equal marketing. Just because your book is on Amazon or in Barnes & Noble or all the other stores, that doesn't mean you're doing any marketing about it, right? You're just making it available. It's like something on the shelf at the grocery store. Unless you have done the job of telling people about your book, what it's about, who you are, that's not going to create automatic sales. And I think it's a big misconception that just because you're out there doesn't mean you have to do and put some marketing muscle behind your efforts. Most importantly, and we have a lot of articles on the blog about this, that pre-sale period, as just before your book comes out, that is so vital in so many ways, including things like getting the algorithms of Amazon and the other companies to notice you, make sure your book is in stock. It's a way to gather some excitement for your book. So really, you need to get traffic to your sales page, but you can't realistically hope to sell many books unless you do some marketing. It's just that simple. All right. No, I don't advocate buying a billboard on I-95 or I-5 in the West saying, "But buy my book." What I do advocate is this. All right. Number one, you got to embrace the need that you've got to do promotion. It's part of the game now, right? You've got to think of yourself. You're an author marketer, all right? You need to constantly look for what's working now. Now, again, our blog is a great source of information about that, but there are other wonderful blogs and newsletters and things like that. Authors are telling other authors, what's working for them, and it's a great way for this community, I think, really responds to folks and it really helps them out. It's a very collaborative community. That's one of the nicest thing about it, all right? Again, understand how to use social media. What works, what doesn't work, all right? Saying buy me on Twitter is not going to sell you any books. Engaging in conversation, joining groups, being part of that community of the genre or the topic that is part of your book. That's how you get those great first readers who are going to tell their friends, who are going to tell their friends, et cetera, et cetera. And then finally, reviews. I think over and over now, it's been proven the books who have reviews, who go out and get them, solicit them, or there are services that you can do for paid reviews, critically important. Rather than just having your Amazon listing or your bookshop listing without any reviews on them. People read those; they really do work. It's great word of mouth marketing. All right, and finally, this is one of the communications that really kind of frustrated me the most. Somebody's written to me saying, "Oh, 6 months ago, I launched my book. It didn't go anywhere. I'm going to forget about that, and I'm going to move on to something else." And I always my response is the same. It's have you ever purchased a boat? Have you ever launched the boat in the water? And have you ever thought that okay, maybe it's not full of people, but after 6 months, I'm just going to let it sink to the bottom of the lake? No, this is something that is going to live on for years and years. It's a new book that 99.9% of the people who have come by your Twitter page or your Facebook page or something like that. It may be old to you. It may be old to your family and friends who you've been hawking it to for the past 6 months. But hit different channels of social media. All right. Look for ways to give your book new life. We've had a social media ads program that's gone very well. We also have a display ad program that's gone well. But there are 1,000 different ways that you can breathe new life into your book. Again, it's only old to you if you've been looking at it through the writing process and the publishing process, and then the actual book launch as well. So don't give up on it early. By the way, I just found out that our Facebook feed is back. If you want to jam some questions in, now is the time to do that. I think our feed is back up, but this will be available, by the way, in its entirety on our Facebook page, so you can go back and look at that at a later time. All right. So finally, before we wrap this up, had a nice little note from someone, David. I'd like to make it very current. He just published his book on the 1st of January. Did a remarkable job in bringing my first published book to print. Layout, customer service, printing turnaround time, all aspects of the experience one needs to consider. And BookBaby did not disappoint in any of these areas, which is great to read about. He will not hesitate for BookBaby to do another project. I think it's fantastic. So, David, glad your book project went well. One final thing I want to talk about, and we haven't mentioned this before on broadcast, and it's something we don't market a great deal, but we have something that is for you folks who are, who are authors, or you might be an editor, or you might be ultra in the publishing business. This is open to everyone, and we have something called the Partner Program, and you can sign up to be a publishing partner. Right? As I say, this isn't limited to anyone. You have to be in the industry. You might be part of an authors group, and that's the kind of the model for some of us. Or you might be a small publisher, and you're getting some work done. Maybe we do your ebooks for you, et cetera, et cetera. All right. You sign up to become a publishing partner. All right. After you signed up, we give you a direct link that you can give to all of your friends. All right. You say, hey, you know what? I had a good experience with BookBaby. If you want to do it, here's a link that you can use to get into BookBaby. And they're part of the same offers that we offer all our customers, but it's in a nice page that basically has your name on that. As long as that person clicks on that link, you are forever linked to that person, and you can see how their project is going along, and you get a 10% commission once your referrals project is completed. Now, and that's only on orders over $100. Remember that proof copy I was talking about a little bit earlier? That's $99. I'm not just going to pay a 10% commission on that. No, it's going to be for the sizable order that they do through BookBaby as a thank you for bringing in new customers. It's only good on that first order because then we have to win them back for their second, third, fourth book, and we think that's our job. So if you want to consider becoming a BookBaby publishing partner, there's the link /publishing-partner-program, and I hardly suggest you sign up. We've been sending out a lot of commission dollars here, especially at the end of the year. It's going very well. All right. And now, unfortunately, I don't have any questions to be answering because of the error in the Facebook stream, and I'm sorry about that. So here's what I recommend, okay? If and when I'm sure you will have questions, here's what you do. Send me an email, Stephen@bookbaby.com, and I will get to many of them in the next couple of days so I can get you the information as best. So it's it. Any questions from this presentation or from anything earlier or from elsewhere on the site? I got 3 coming in this morning about a wide range of topics, and now that I'm President Emeritus, I seem to have more time to be doing that kind of outreach, which frankly is a lot more fun than thinking about how many new Xerox printers we're going to need next year. So anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this presentation. Sorry about the technical glitch. As I say, you'll be able to see this both on our Facebook page and our YouTube page in its entirety. So look for that if you were not able to be part of that stream earlier. All right. And we'll have to announce a winner. I'll probably choose a winner out of some of the email questions I get. So again, please send those in. And that's what I have. Carter, thank you very much.